Good morning, everyone!
Hello. We got a big day ahead of you. I'm Paolo del Rosario. Let's get you up to speed with some news that you could use right now.
Hello, rise and shine, beautiful people. I'm Anne Asis-Carilo. It is a Thursday, January 9, and we are here to make sure your day starts right with good vibes and great energy.
And I'm Monique Tuzon. Your mornings are mo fun with us. Join us in the next hour for stories and conversations that matter. We have a jam-packed show this Thursday because of Traslacion happening.
Yes.
And we have some sports guests.
Yes, we do. So you won't be there, I think.
Yeah, after yesterday, Anne and I are not in sports anymore.
No, I won't even try to pretend that I know anything about that particular sport that we're going to be talking about later on. But I am interested in finding out the history of what we're celebrating today, Traslacion. That's why Xiao is joining us yet again on the show. He's going to be a resident historian.
Actually,
Xiao Chua coming in again, and of course, Traslacion, the big story today. Man of surprise, and of course, we can get updates from the venues later on, and of course, I would try to get to know more a bit about it and why it's such a big deal.
Another history lesson for me, because I actually don't know what Traslacion is. We don't have that in the US. And actually last night, like midnight, I was coming home from a thing, and then I saw people wearing the Traslacion shirts heading towards Quiapo, literally at midnight.
As early
so
as
I was like,
last night, actually, they're already looking for a good spot to stay in.
Yep.
Yeah, so let's find out whether or not the weather will cooperate with Traslacion today. So on to our weather report. Rainy conditions may persist in parts of the country. Weather Bureau Pag-asa says the shear line is causing scattered rains and isolated thunderstorms in the Visayas, Bicol region, Mimaropa, Quezon, and Dinagat Islands. The agency adds these areas should prepare for possible strong rains. Meanwhile, the northeast monsoon or hanging amihan affects most parts of Luzon, including Metro Manila. Be ready for potential rains later on the day as well. The rest of Mindanao will also experience isolated rain showers due to localized thunderstorms. Sunset today set at 5:33 p.m. Tune into Weather HQ later on at 9 a.m. for updates whatever the weather, only here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel. Now, thousands of devotees of Jesus Nazareno have filled the Quezon Bridge as early as 3 a.m. this morning for the Traslacion, or the procession of image of Jesus Nazareno to its home at Quiapo Church. Hannah T is in Quiapo to give us updates live. Hannah, what do you have?
Good morning, Paolo. We're seeing heavy foot traffic and road closures around Quiapo Church as thousands of devotees continue to gather for the Traslacion. If you're planning to pass through this area today, you might want to take a different route because several major roads were closed. As of 4 a.m., the crowd here at Quiapo Church continues to thicken, almost coinciding with the movement of the Andas from the Quirino Codanstad. According to the Nazareno Operations Center, the crowd at Quiapo Church already reached 15,000 between 3 and 4 a.m. Taft Avenue, Ayala Boulevard, and Quezon Boulevard are all closed in sections near the church. Even side streets like Legarda, C. Palanca, and Picasal are impassable. This has caused traffic to build up in the surrounding areas, especially on alternative routes. For those coming from Rojas Boulevard, light vehicles can take UN Avenue and cross Mabini Bridge to get to their destination. Heavier vehicles like trucks and trailers are being diverted to Quirino Avenue and also toward Mabini Bridge. And if you're heading north via Taft Avenue, you'll have to turn right to UN Avenue instead. The best tip right now, Paolo, is to avoid the areas near Quiapo. If you don't need to be here, use navigation apps to check for real-time traffic updates and plan your travel ahead. So far, authorities here in Quiapo Church are managing the flow of vehicles and pedestrians, but it's definitely a busy morning here. Paolo.
And can people still pass through the closed roads? I'm assuming that's foot traffic.
Yes, the road closures, Paolo, are only for vehicles. Pedestrians can still pass through these areas naman. No, I've seen devotees walking to Quiapo Church without any issue. The police are stationed at major intersections to guide both pedestrians and vehicles and ensure that the cars stay out of restricted zones. Back to you, Paolo.
Thank you so much. That was Hannah T reporting live from the Quiapo Church in Manila.
Meanwhile, Soo-Jin Kim is in Quirino Grandstand to give us updates as well. Go ahead, Soo-Jin. Okay, we'll get back to Soo-Jin Kim in a bit. Again, she's reporting live from the Quirino Grandstand.
In the meantime, the health department assures HMPV, or human metapneumovirus, is no cause for concern after rumors online spread that another virus is currently wreaking havoc in China. Speaking on BNC's On Point, Health Secretary Ted Herbosa says the country records almost 100 cases per year. He adds HMPV is ordinary in other countries, with flu-like symptoms in both young and old people, especially during winter or flu season.
It's an old illness. We're monitoring HMPV. In the Philippines, we get about 100 cases of
So we have
HPV.
it here.
We have it here.
Okay.
So it's part of what causes in children respiratory flu-like illness. If you get older, your recovery isn't as good.
Yeah.
And you can get complications, especially the very old and those with comorbidities.
Now, the PAL supports controversial SSS contribution hike. Malacanang tells critics to give it a chance as they study it further. Pierre Pastor has more.
The monthly contribution of SSS members will increase starting this month, despite calls from different groups and lawmakers to stop the hike because it adds burden to low-wage earners. They say this is ill-timed with the soaring prices of basic commodities. But Malacanang supports the increase. And like the SSS, the palace claims the increase will result in more benefits.
Pabayaan na natin muna na palagay ko maaring yung call na yan is maybe good for next year if it ever will be reviewed. But right now, matagal na nila pinag-aralan yan. In-announce nila long before that call was made. And in fact, these benefits are being expanded now. So why don't we just let that process continue and produce results that were predicted by actuarial studies.
According to Bersamin, the call for suspension of the contribution rate hike might be politically motivated.
You must understand kung kanino galing yung call. Kandidato eh. Si Rolly Makasait, who used to be president of SSS. I don't know if that is part of his way of campaigning.
Pursuant to the provisions of Republic Act 11199 or the Social Security Act of 2018, the contribution will increase by 1% every 2 years until it reaches 15%. This will be the last tranche of the series of increases. This is accompanied by hikes in minimum monthly salary credit or MSC of 5,000 from the previous 4,000 and in the maximum MSC to 35,000 from the previous 30,000. The SSS says that the contribution rate and MSC increases will result in additional collection of about 51.5 billion in 2025. It will also enable SSS to support the government, especially in times of calamity. SSS grants calamity loans to members. In 2024, they released 9.7 billion pesos worth of calamity loans for 500,000 SSS members. Pierre Pastor, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
A recent social weather station survey reveals 41% of Filipinos support the impeachment of Vice President Sara Duterte. The survey conducted between December 12 and December 18, 2024, also revealed 35% are against the impeachment, while 19% are undecided. VP Sara currently faces 3 impeachment complaints filed by various groups.
Now over in the U.S., harrowing news in California as raging wildfires in Los Angeles kills at least 2 people and destroys hundreds of buildings. More than 100,000 people have been evacuated in the area. Authorities say all 3 fires in Palisades, Eaton, and Hearst are 0% contained. Powerful winds fueled the fast-spreading fire, which grew in size more than 5-fold over just 4 hours on Tuesday night and were hindering efforts to fight the blaze. Lack of water also hampered efforts, particularly in Palisades, where the wildfire has consumed nearly 5,000 hectares.
Now, over in China, more than 400 people trapped by rubble have been rescued following a 6.8 magnitude quake that hit Tibet on Tuesday. At least 126 were reported dead, while 188 more are injured. 24 hours after the tremor struck, those trapped under rubble would have endured a night in sub-zero temperatures, adding to the pressure on rescuers looking for survivors in an area roughly the size of Cambodia. The epicenter of the quake was located in Tingri in China's Tibet, about 80 kilometers north of Mount Everest. It also shook buildings in neighboring Nepal, Bhutan, and India.
Social media giant Meta has scrapped its U.S. fact-checking program in exchange for a community-based system similar to X. Meta also reduced crubs on discussions around contentious topics like immigration and gender identity. This marks as a reversal in Meta's moderation policy, which CEO Mark Zuckerberg has long championed despite criticisms from conservatives. This also comes shortly after changes in leadership, where Republican policy executive Joel Kaplan was named Global Affairs head, and Dana White, a close friend of Donald Trump, was elected to its board.
On to sports, a big blow for Gilas Pilipinas as 7'3" basketball star Kai Sotto sustains a torn ACL on his left knee. The Japan-based big man confirmed the development on his official Instagram account. Sotto calls this, quote, the darkest day of my basketball career. His team in Japan says he will be sidelined for at least 6 months to recover from the injury. Sotto will be unable to join Gilas next month in the upcoming window of the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. He will also miss the B-League Asia Rising Star game scheduled for January 18. Here at home, sweet victory for the Northport Batangpier as the Northport ends a 5-year losing streak against Barangay Ginebra San Miguel in the PBA Commissioner's Cup. Northport escaped with the upset on Wednesday at the PhilSports Arena, 119-116. Import Kadeem Jack leading the charge with 32 points for the Northport Batangpier. Arvin Tolentino chips in with 29 points, while Joshua Monzon added 27 markers of his own. In the first game, the Rain and Shine Alaska Raiders rolls to their 5th straight victory at the expense of the Blackwater Bossing, 122-106. ROS import Dion Thompson had a double-double of 25 and 16 rebounds, while Adrian Nokumpo caught fire in the second half, finishing with 22 points.
Now, entertainment news. R&B and pop fans gear up for a much-awaited release as Mac Miller's estate reveals the set list for his posthumous album. Balloonerism is set to span 14 tracks with features coming from SZA. The track $5 Pony Rides is set for release on Friday, while the album will be available on January 17.
Kanye West lashes out at Adidas once more, accusing his former partner in his Yeezy shoe brand of design theft and oppression. On a long post on social media, Ye tells Adidas, "I did phenomenal work for you guys. Everyone remembers I had major issues with Adidas because of design theft and oppression before the tweet." Kanye was a former billionaire, but his net worth tanked after the sportswear giant dropped him following a series of anti-Semitic comments. Meanwhile, music fans are also celebrating Elvis Presley on what would have been his 90th birthday. Fans trooped to Elvis's iconic Graceland mansion in Memphis, Tennessee on Wednesday to take part in the anniversary celebrations. Elvis, one of the most significant pop culture icons of the 20th century, was born on January 8, 1935. As part of Elvis's 90th birthday anniversary, a year-long exhibit was also unveiled, showcasing 90 curated items from the King of Rock and rock and roll's timeless career. As Filipino Catholics commemorate the feast of the Jesus Nazareno today, historian Xiao Chua joins us live after the break to talk about the long-standing historic tradition. So don't miss it. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back.
Ito po si Father Nono.
Ako po si Father Fiel Pareha.
Ako si Risa Singson Kaupeng.
Kape at pandasal na po tayo. Ito po si Cardinal Chito Tagle.
It meant a lot. There are only 3 companies in the Philippines included in the 100 list. It's also validated what we are doing is good for the environment. Aside from that, we're also able to get a new investment from CSEF, Southeast Asia Clean Energy Fund. Early this year, we are able to raise $6 million. And for MOBER, it's really something very, very proud that what we are doing is really helping the country also.
Nuestro Padre Jesús Nazareno, niluluwalhati ka namin. Nuestro Padre Jesús Nazareno, dinarangal ka namin. Nuestro Padre Jesús Nazareno, dinarangal ka namin. Nuestro Padre Jesús Nazareno, niluluwalhati ka namin.
Welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. Now, every January 9, devotees troop to the streets of Manila, all driven by faith, hope, and a sense of unity. The Traslacion of the Nazarene is a 500-year tradition that reflects the Filipino spirit of panata and bayanihan. And today, we are going to take a deep dive into the history of this centuries-old tradition with historian Xiao Chua. It's a beautiful day, Xiao. Welcome back to the show.
Makasaysayang araw, historic day to all of you.
My favorite reading.
Our favorite word.
Say that again.
Makasaysayang araw.
Oh,
yeah.
I've
been practicing.
Yeah, love it, love it, love it.
So, of course, January 9, we are celebrating the Traslacion today. And a while ago, we were giving live updates on what is going on already there in Quiapo. A lot of devotees have been there since last night. Now, Xiao, can you tell us more about the origins of Traslacion and how it all began?
Well, first of all, the Traslacion procession as we know it today, which is from the Rizal Park, Luneta, and it goes back to Quiapo, is a very new thing. It actually started in 2007.
Oh, that's okay.
So it used, Traslacion means transfer. Because the Black Nazarene, of course, we now call it Pong Jesus Nazareno. We've always called it Pong Jesus Nazareno. Yeah. Is the statue of Jesus Christ carrying the cross. And parang he fell down, parang ganon. Yeah. So, for many centuries, the Spaniards brought them here from Mexico through the galleons. And around 1700s, a devotion started in Quiapo Church. So, there has always been the Quiapo Nazareno procession. Okay. So, it starts, there's a novena that also begins with the procession, January 1. That's why we have the Thanksgiving procession. And then the novena, which is 9 days. That's why it's Novem Diales, novena, 9 days. Prayers, the last day is January 9. That's why this is the procession. Okay. It is not actually a fiesta. Yeah. It's only now, this year, that it's now formally a national feast declared by the Catholic Church. So it can be celebrated all throughout the country by various all the parishes.
Is there a specific reason why it's in Quiapo Church when we have so many other beautiful churches here in the Philippines?
Well, all churches have patron. patron saints, and you know, it's also either a saint or Virgin Mary or Jesus Christ.
Right.
But this special Quiapo, because the Nazareno was there, the black, what was called the Black Nazarene. A lot of people said that we were drawn to it because of the color.
Yeah.
First, it's the Lord, okay? It's Jesus Christ. And then the color, it kind of reminds us that Emmanuel, God was with us. He was human like us, and he looks like a Filipino.
Yeah.
And he is also suffering, like most people during the time of the Spaniards were suffering. And so we were drawn to it because we know that the suffering Jesus Christ is not the end of the story. There's hope because there's resurrection after the death of Jesus. And the death of Jesus gives light, as according to Cardinal Ambo David. So we are not really looking at the Nazareno as a figure of, you know, depression, but really where we pin our hopes of and healing and everlasting life. And that's why this is where we see the fusion of the old beliefs of the Filipinos before the coming of the Spaniards, where we believe in that objects have power.
Yeah.
Like statues, like the panyo or the towel. That we wipe it to the Nazareno so that you can transfer power.
Yeah.
This is why, even if it's a Catholic tradition, you see all of this, shall we say, Filipino traditions also in this devotion being played in front of us.
So, 500-year history, sigurado may mga controversies, may mga issues sa pinagdaanan yung entire procession, the entire tradition in general. What stands out in your mind when you take a look at siguro yung mga pinagdaanan ng tradition na to?
Well, first of all, even before the Traslacion was held, no, it's always depicted, well, before, as you're going to see the old photographs and the old paintings of the of the Jesus Nazareno procession, it used to be a usual procession.
Yeah.
Where people are walking and there were candles and all. And this kind of developed by the American period, where you see already people, still people walking with candles, but some of them were already wanting to touch the image while it is moving.
Yeah.
With the andas, they call it the andas, the one that they used to carry the andas with their shoulders.
Yes.
So people were climbing up just to touch the image. So, but around the time, there was already like incidences at that time. But eventually it developed into what would become what we know it today. What we know it, how we knew it before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Because now they're changing it. You have to remember that there are parts of the devotion in the procession. One is called the pagsalang, means you are going to go to the procession.
Yes.
And sasalang ka, you're going to get the lubid or the rope.
Yes.
And papasan ka. You're going to carry the rope. So why carry the rope? The rope has nothing to do with the movement of the andas. It's just an extension so that people can participate. So that is, and in their thinking, in their imagery, they're actually sharing with the carrying of the cross of Jesus, as Jesus was doing. What was taken out of the new version, as implemented by the Reverend Father Jun Sescon, the parish priest, now Bishop-elect of Balanga, was the pagsampa. So that's pagsampa means that there's a karosa, andas, which is now not andas but karosa.
Yeah.
People are climbing
On
up
top of it, yeah.
on top so that they can touch the Black Nazarene. And of course, the priests, like the former parish priest, were interpreting for the devotees that it's really an act of faith. When you want to touch the Nazarene, when you want to wipe the handkerchief, the towel to the Nazarene, it's an act of faith like that in the Bible, where the woman was bleeding for 7 years, said, mahawakan ko lang ang laylayan ng damit ng aking Panginoon, gagaling ako.
Yeah.
So that's how we take it.
You know, I wanted to know the history of the Jesus Nazareno itself, no? Because I read that hindi pala siya Black Nazarene before it came to the Philippines. I wanted to confirm
Well,
that
it's
with
possible that it was not black because the Nazarene, the point of the Nazarene is not really the blackness.
Yeah.
It was just incidental because the wood that was used, as time goes by, becomes
Darker. Yeah.
So that
darkens.
is why it becomes black Nazarene.
Okay.
I've seen images of the Jesus Nazareno. He was painted like the usual statues. So the point really was not it's black, except that of course, according to the anthropologist Butch Shalsita, Fernando Nakpil Shalsita, who was also from Quiapo, we associate blackness to power in cultures around the world. Black images have power.
Yeah.
It's not really evil. It's really it's really power.
Gravitas.
So that's why if you look at some of the powerful images here in the Philippines, you have the Santo Niño de Cebu, black. You have the Virgin of Peace and Good Voyage in Antipolo, black. So the Santo Niño in Pandacan, black. So you also see this pattern here.
Yep. You know, we are so happy we're getting a chance to talk to you because you actually published a dissertation on this entire tradition on the Black Nazarene. From a personal perspective, why did you want to really invest all this time, all this knowledge, and all of this stress in learning more about Traslacion?
Aside from the enjoyable stress that I still do it actually, even if I finish the dissertation, I still go to the events. I was actually there earlier during the Misa Mayor. I'm actually a Protestant already, yes. But I remember when people discuss about the Black Nazarene and how these people are fanatics and they're mindless people, I remembered my mother. Because my mother's faith was sustained by the Black Nazarene. They thought that I was a sickly person and I'm going to die very young when I was a young boy. But she went to the Black Nazarene or the Jesus Nazareno in Tarlac every Friday. She brings me there. I used to dress up like the Black Nazarene, like the Nazareno, and I was brought there every time. And I kind of, it's my mother a fanatic. So I want to know the heart of my mother. I want to know the heart of a devotee, and so I did this anthropological study.
Well, for people who aren't devotees or like someone like me or like the younger generations, you mentioned earlier, it started just recently, 2007, correct? So what do you think attracts the younger generation to participate now?
Well, first of all, the secret to the endurance of the of the Jesus Nazareno. Yes, have to get used to it. Of the Jesus Nazareno as a devotion is really the excitement that people feel during the Traslacion. That's actually one factor. Because people start very young, they're attracted to it. And that's why a lot of people criticize it. These young people who come there, they really do not pray. They're like really do this because they have gangs and they have, they have a barkada and they go there to hang out, to actually prove something. But I always say it's okay because when I talk to the old mamamasan, the old devotees, they always tell me that, their faith are deep now. Their faith in the Jesus Nazareno is deep now. But they used to be also like the young people now. So, because as we know, when people start young, they really do not understand fully yet. Until, of course, exposure to it every year makes you fall deeper to understanding what really this means to all of us. So, I guess you just let people do it. So that is the reason why young people just go and attend and they do the rituals of the mamamasan, and they will also pass this. And there are many generations of mamamasan already, as we can see.
You know, this actually reminds me of that story in the Bible where Jesus gathers the children, right?
Yes.
Well, how do you address, critiques who say that the people who go here every year are fanatical, like you've mentioned earlier, and call this whole devotion colonial?
Well, colonial, yes, but there's also a process in culture called appropriation. Definitely, we appropriated, inangkin natin, and we mixed our cultural practices to this.
Right.
And fanatical, well, you can say that, but what I always see here is, if you really study it from the perspective of the devotees, I actually learned a lot from them. That what they were doing, you just look at it, it looks chaotic, but there's actually bayanihan there. There's order. There's a way of moving around so that people are safe. Remember, millions of people going there every year.
Yeah.
But in the past few years, there are no casualties, like no deaths that were happening. And if there were deaths, it's really heart attack and all. So no procession-related deaths that were happening. So that means that there's really something there. There's bayanihan. So for example, during the time when people can still climb up the andas, there were people who were at the sides. They were called pinga because pinga is the handle of the andas. But they were also called pinga, and people see it, and people were, oh, they're stepping on other people so that they can climb, these devotees. Right. But actually, these people, this pinga, they actually let themselves be climbed, use the shoulders so that people can climb, so they can touch. Okay. It's really bayanihan. There's really, you can look at it, you can read I have some papers about it. There are explanations already by a lot of anthropologists and social scientists, and the priests of Quiapo are also explaining. So this is where we see there's a cultural element to it, and let us look at it at the point of view of why the devotees are doing it.
So that's a beautiful message, and of course, we're going to be covering this all throughout today. Pero Xiao, maraming salamat. Thank you very much for joining us. I know you've only had an hour of sleep. You're going to have a full day, I believe. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Maraming salamat po, and I hope that all of you will have a meaningful day, and I hope we also, whatever religion, Christian religion that we are, let's remember the Lord today.
That's right. Thank you so much, Xiao Chua, ladies and gentlemen. Meanwhile, let's bring back Sujin Kim, who is in Quirino Grandstand live to give us updates. Go ahead, Sujin.
Good morning, Paolo and Anne. At 4:41 this morning, the carriage carrying the Poong Nazareno started its procession. Today, we expect a significant turnout, possibly exceeding the 6.5 million that was recorded last year. Today, some 14,000 personnel from the Philippine National Police were deployed to maintain peace and security. We also have 1,000 members from the Armed Forces of the Philippines here to assist the PNP. We also have 500 volunteers from the Philippine Red Cross, with 33 ambulances and 17 first aid stations ready for any emergencies. Actually, today is a non-working holiday here at the City of Manila, and likewise, the number coding scheme has been lifted. Actually, the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or the MMDA, is conducting their clearing and cleaning operations, which not only includes disposing the trash, but also manning illegally parked cars within the vicinity. The procession will follow its traditional 5.8-kilometer route from here at the Quirino Grandstand, going through Katigbak Drive and passing by Ayala Bridge before going to Quiapo Church. Earlier this midnight, we also had the Misa Mayor facilitated by the Archbishop of Manila, Father Jose Advincula Jr., which was followed by a vigil at 1 a.m. And those are latest updates from here at the Quirino Grandstand. Back to you guys at the studio.
Thank you so much, Sujin Kim, reporting live from the Quirino Grandstand.
When we return, we got more sports, as we also put the spotlight on the Philippine men's national football team as they complete an impressive run in the ASEAN Mitsubishi Electric Cup. Goalkeeper and Secretary of Defense Quincy Kammeraad will join us live after the break. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back.
Good morning, I'm Mikey Oreta.
Ferdy Salvador.
Welcome to Industry Beacon,
where we shine a light on the trailblazers,
the disruptors, and the industry leaders shaping our future.
And in each episode, we explore how they're staying ahead in their fields,
one industry at a time.
It's a good opportunity to come from Australia here to the Philippines.
AC Health has launched groundbreaking initiatives to improve access to care.
I'm so thrilled we opened the country's first cancer-only hospital.
Industry Beacon on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel. From the filing of candidacies until the last ballot is counted, your newest trusted news source, BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel, will be at the forefront to guide your decisions and guard your vote. Tune in to BNC's Election 2025 special coverage.
Actually, I think it's impossible to be good and nice all the time. Yes, it's too much to ask. You should just try to do your best, as in all things in life. And if you can be quite good almost all the time, don't worry about the gifts. It's time to relax. Yes, quite big gifts, I think.
Coffee!
So let's see what happens with these gifts. Okay.
And take good care of the presents. We made them with love.
Yeah, I will.
Joo,
And now,
rakkaudella.
everybody, Merry Christmas, oikein hyvää joulua, Joyeux Noël, Feliz Navidad.
Hei hei!
Ollaan valmiita, mennään vaan. Merry Christmas,
Hei hei!
Joyeux Noël, Frohe Weihnachten,
I got
Feliz
chills.
Navidad.
Welcome back to watching It's a Beautiful Day. I kicked out my two co-hosts here because I wanted this guy all to myself. The Philippine men's national football team showing a lot of promise after its campaign in the ASEAN Mitsubishi Electric Cup, the most impressive of which ends a losing streak against regional powerhouse Thailand that lasted over 52 years. Joining us in the studio is national team goalkeeper Quincy Kammeraad. It's a beautiful day, Quincy. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning.
All right, so first and foremost, you came into the team as a backup initially to Patrick Dato, who unfortunately suffered an ACL injury in the middle of the tournament. Of course, well wishes to Patrick first, but then what went through your head when you saw him get injured first? Because normally people say, hey, always be ready.
Yeah.
But you can never really expect that, especially when you're a goalkeeper, when you see someone go down right in front of you.
I actually didn't expect him to tear his ACL.
Yeah.
My first initial thought was, okay, he went down, killed the game for a bit, and then he will get up. And then it was actually the goalkeeper coach that told me to warm up.
Yeah.
Didn't think still too much of it until our fitness coach came up to me with the iPad.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, okay, it's gonna happen now.
Yeah, it's gonna happen, and it did happen. And funnily enough, that was your first senior game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was.
What a way to make a debut! But of course, when he went down, when did it hit you that you were actually in the game?
I think 4 minutes after I came in.
So you only realized you were actually playing 4 minutes
Yeah.
when you went on the field.
Yeah.
My goodness. And of course, when you came on, there was a lot of work to do. It was a very important game. The Philippines needed to beat Indonesia.
Yeah.
And when you came on, first off, when you came off rather, obviously it was a big win for the Philippines. They made you do a speech at the end after your debut. What were your feelings after that game? Because it's not only historic for you, but the Philippines making it to the semifinals for the first time in years as well. I mean, like, I can only imagine the emotions you were going through.
No, the emotions were high in the locker room. Obviously, everybody wanted this. We knew it was going to be hard, playing away from home in Indonesia, in front of their home crowd. So there was a little celebration after the game in the locker room.
We saw your message to not just Patrick Dato, of obviously Kiki Reichelt, who had to leave early from that tournament. I mean, I know you're roommates with Patrick Dato.
Yes.
I know that he's a guy who requires a lot of sleep.
Yes.
And I can only imagine how much he'd actually say, like, hey, wait, I need to go to bed. But then, so what was the conversations like after that Indonesia game? Because I'm sure, obviously, he was devastated with the injury, but did he reach out afterwards to tell you anything?
Yeah, he gave me a pretty long message, just about in and outs, what we've been speaking about in the room, and that it's like a perfect dream to make your debut. Obviously, he was gutted, but he was very happy for me. We actually played together in Global back in 2017. And
you were a baby then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was 16.
Okay.
It's just how happy he was for me to finally got my shot. Obviously not the way we both wanted it, but he was really happy for me.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was really interesting because for him, you were basically in his shoes way back in the day. In 2014, he was a first choice keeper for the Philippines, going up against Thailand in Rajamangala in the semifinals as a 24-year-old. And here you are at 23 doing the exact same thing. What was the mindset going into that Thailand series, considering that, one, we haven't beaten them for 52 years, first and foremost.
Yes.
And then second, you actually had to do the job in Thailand, which unfortunately we did fall short.
Yeah, no, actually Dato was my main guidance person. It's giving me a little...
Incredible. But at the same time, you know, the effort the team showed there for such a young group, this is the youngest team in the... it was the youngest team to be part of the semifinals amongst the 4 teams that were there, the average age of 23 years old. In fact, you're very much a part of that. What does this tell you about the direction of the team moving forward, considering it's so many young people, so many young faces? If you're 30 years old or 28 years old and above, you're old.
Yeah, no, it's a young group. And I think that's what made us so close to each other off the pitch.
Yeah.
It was obviously the main conversation at the dinner tables was like, we have to win this.
Yeah.
So I think with this young group and everybody having the same mentality, we got this far. We had a lot of obstacles to climb, and I think we did well as a group, but this group will break more records in the future.
Did you surpass your own expectations?
Yeah.
You look at this group here, and this is not even arguably the strongest team that the Philippines could form yet. It looks like there could be a couple more guys coming in. How important is that internal competition for you guys? Because you know, for your position in particular, the Philippines has had a long tradition of actually having quality keepers.
Yes.
From Neil Etheridge, Kevin Mendoza, to Patrick Dato, now even yourself here. Just how important is knowing that, you know, the competition is there internally, trying to push yourselves forward?
No, it's good. I think everybody must stay sharp. You cannot slap off one day, even at the club level. It's higher stakes now because the competition is higher than it was before.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good thing for the team.
All right, so let's talk about a few of your teammates in particular, because we invited some here who couldn't make it for various reasons. So this is a Filipino tradition. If you're not here, we'll talk about you, right? So that's how it normally works out. Let's start off first with some guys at the back line of the defense. Amani Aguinaldo in particular, when in 2014 he was part of the starting lineup against Thailand, he was 19 years old. Now he doesn't look 19, but Amani Aguinaldo, what did he bring on the field for you guys? Because he looks like such an emotional leader in the way that he helps lead the back line.
He is, but I think he is the best guidance we had. Also in terms of experience.
Yeah.
He was basically our kuya on the pitch, and he just sorted everything for us. We're talking to the guys if something had to be done, and I just think he did a fantastic job.
And of course, a lot of people are talking about Sandro Reyes. I don't want to talk about him, but I think we have to.
Same.
Yeah, I think we just have to talk about him, right? Because it's just one of those things. But then, Sandro coming into this one, some people will be surprised knowing that this is actually his third AFF championship. The way Sandro played this time around, I know you've also seen him for many, many years. What was different about him in this tournament?
I think he's more mature now.
Is he?
More mature.
On the field?
On the field.
Okay.
Off the field, same.
All right. So, but yeah, what was different on the field?
More mature, just the way he plays. I think Germany, where he's now, is doing good for him.
Yeah.
And that shows on the pitch that he is just improving rapidly.
Yeah.
In Germany.
Well, of course, moving forward, there's so many goals for the Philippines still. There's still the Asian qualifiers, Asian Championship qualifiers that the Philippines wants to get back in. The Philippines hasn't made it there since 2019. You look at this entire group, this entire crop, and how important is it for you that this group stays together in terms of developing with each other as you try to reach another level?
I think it will be important. Obviously, the moment you know the players better, it's easier to play with each other. For me, I've been around this group for a couple of years already, so for me it was pretty easy. But I think the moment we meet each other more, train together more often, I think we will get the system of play better.
Yeah, it feels like the team's improving game in, game out. It's still, just slight critique. I think we all know that the defensive work of the team could improve moving forward. I mean, I know you're screaming at your own defenders, but then just how much important is it that there's pride in the way that you defend as well?
No, I think that's what Amani really brought into the group. Pride to be Filipino, knowing why you're doing this, not just for you, but also for the whole nation.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we brought into each game, like the pride of the nation.
Well, you know what? You guys made a lot of history, and you made sure that Philippine football had a bit of a resurgence as well. And just out of curiosity, I know we're 2 years away from the next one, but how excited are you to be able to try and have another crack at a team like Thailand and another crack at hopefully making it to a final?
I think that's going to be our next goal. Not just to go to the final, but win the actual tournament.
Exciting stuff. Cannot wait for it. Of course, you have to wait 2 more years, but then still, the AFC Championships obviously going to be the next goal for this team, qualifying for that at the very least. And hopefully we can see you guys more often soon at home as well. Thank you very much for joining us here.
Pleasure.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is Quincy Kammeraad, goalkeeper of the Philippine men's national football team. He came on after injury to the first choice keeper, and not only that, made sure that it's going to be a competition next time we talk about the first 11 of the Philippine national football team. Thank you very much for joining us again. All right, so when we return, the Voice USA winner Sofronio Vasquez getting a rockstar welcome at Malacanang for his homecoming to the Philippines. That story, when it's a beautiful day, returns. Stay tuned.
From the story of ancient beads traded into the Philippines to textiles adorned with sequins, from animist motifs to Christian symbols, all proudly proclaiming our sense of beauty to an admiring world. There is really much to be preserved. Dayaw, our knowledge, our pride.
In fact, baliktad. Padadamihin pa namin ang serbisyong ibibigay ng PhilHealth, palalakihin pa namin ang pagbayad sa insurance claims. So, I would like to just assure everybody, huwag niyong inaalala na mababawasan ang serbisyo kahit na kanino.
Nuestro Padre Jesus Nazareno, niluluwalhati ka namin. Nuestro Padre Jesus Nazareno, dinarangal ka namin. Nuestro Padre Jesus Nazareno, dinarangal ka namin. Nuestro Padre Jesus Nazareno, niluluwalhati ka namin.
Welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. Now in Baguio, Count John Hay is back in government hands after years of court battle. This after a Supreme Court ruling that finalizes the takeover of Basis Conversion and Development Authority, or BCDA, from its private developer. BCDA is a government-owned corporation that engages in public-private partnerships to push infrastructure such as tollways, airports, and major real estate developments. The Voice USA winner Sofronio Vazquez graces the Malacañang Palace, where the president himself thanked and honored him for bringing glory to the Philippines. Pierre Pastor has this story.
President Bongbong Marcos warmly welcomed Sofronio Vazquez, the grand winner of The Voice USA Season 26, to the palace. Vazquez is the first Filipino and Asian to win the prestigious competition. He serenaded the first couple, even bringing the First Lady to tears. Sofronio sang his version of Imagine by the Beatles, a favorite of the president.
I hope someday you'll join me. And the world will be as
Ganda! Ang galing mo kumanta. He sings so damn well. Papa-thank you sa'yo dahil pinasikat mo na naman yung Pilipino. Sikat na naman tayo.
Sofronio was part of Team Bublé, mentored by renowned singer-songwriter Michael Bublé. Among his prizes is $100,000 and a record deal with Universal Music. In the highly competitive finale of The Voice, Sofronio secured the majority of the votes. Grateful Filipino communities in the US were behind him.
Surprisingly, sir, yung mga Filipinos around America, hindi ko po alam na may mga text brigade sila na bumoto po sila, vote natin to.
Kahit dito.
Before his win, Sofronio worked as an OFW, a cruise ship singer and a dental assistant in Buffalo, New York. Pierre Pastor, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
He's so good. Sofronio, if you're watching this, please come serenade us next, because I want to hear your voice live.
Yeah, should guest on our show, do a couple of songs, and then have a sit-down interview. We'll give him all the blocks for one particular day. Yeah, the whole show.
Yeah.
He deserves it. Yeah.
100%. And of course, again, congratulations to him. First Asian winner, first Filipino winner of The Voice US, obviously partnering up with Michael Bublé, who has a special spot in his heart for Filipinos as well. So it just all worked out. And again, really happy for him, and hopefully he can come in over. I believe he's going to Cebu soon for a concert there as well.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, we should
go to Cebu.
Ayan, I'm waiting for Anne to ask for tickets.
No,
Go,
I'm
Anne.
not, but let's just go to Cebu.
No, because she already has. Remember, she already has before. But that's it for us today, this Thursday, January 9. I'm Paolo del Rosario. Thank you very much for joining us.
I'm Anne Asis-Carilo. Thank you for making us your daily morning habit. Remember to spread joy and kindness wherever this day takes you.
And I'm Monique Tuzon. May y'all have a great day ahead. Join us again tomorrow at 7 a.m. only here on
It's a Beautiful Day!